Drew Landry is up next, has a great question. And he says, you said once, had Jim Crockett not went back on his word on payments, you would have stayed with him rather than going to WWF in 1989. Hindsight being 2020, Arn, would you have rather stayed with Crockett than go to WWF? Or do you feel like you made the right decision going up north for that year?
I made the right decision. Um, but if this is a big but now, if he would have just paid me what we agreed on, even if he did it in payments, but just be good on it. Got to remember the key to this whole story is I'm sitting down. The owner of the company walks in. Arn, can I see you for a minute? We go find a quiet place, his office. I don't remember where it was. And this was all his idea. Hey, you've been one of my top guys. You've been working your ass off. You're doing a great job for me. And I'd like to reward you. When they volunteer all that, it's not like, well, I was expecting to make this, but the house is, it's the house is great, but we got screwed on the payoff. That happened all the time. But when you're told something, I want to pay you X amount of money, man, just do it.
Yeah.
Because once that's the first time that I had felt abused, used, slighted, and lied to.
Not cool. I got to ask though this, just thinking through, this question a little bit more. As you sit here today, are you glad that you lived that WWF experience? Because I know you went through a lot of politics, but you got to wrestle a lot of great tag teams. You did have to see what it was like, and it was a tough road to travel as far as being on the road so often away from family. But at the end of the day, aren't you kind of glad that you got to see what that experience is like, so that when you look back on your career, you never have to say, what if? What if I went to W? I never got to try that, but you did, and you got a year of it. So are you kind of glad that you got that experience when you look back on it?
No, I'd have never left. I'd have
So
never
no,
left.
you'd rather be without it.
I would love today to be sitting here telling you I had some kind of job with Jim Crockett Promotions that I got to go to day after tomorrow.
And you would have been fine and never had any one regret and having never worked for WWF.
Nope. If it would have, it was the time of my life. I learned everything that I knew about the business, how to navigate the business. It was a 3-year learning experience that wrestling 330, 340 days. That's the only way you get experience like that with a host of top talent. I would have never left if they would have made it right, and I wouldn't have felt like I missed anything.
There you go. No regrets. And that's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Well, Paul, here's the thing. The reality is no matter how you slice it, dice it, how much I made, how good the exposure was, how good the experience parts of it were, the fact is I lost a year of my life from my family that you'll never get back. 24 days a month gone.
And I think that's that Arn right there really demonstrates to our listeners the kind of man that you are. And I say that with nothing but respect, because there are, folks that are like, oh, the glory, the attention, the limelight, to say that I worked for that company, and that's their number one motivation. That's their goal. They want that. They crave that. They're chasing that. But for you, at the end of the day, is my family's has always come first in my life. And that was my biggest regret, was that 1 year I just wasn't able to see them and spend that time with them. And that's the difference.
And the last year, getting to be with the family as much as I have, with all the things we've been through, let me tell you something, all the glitz and glamour and you name it, all the positives that you get from this business, nothing compares to my son walking up to me with 2 baseball gloves and a baseball and saying, we go pitch. None of that compares to that.
There you go.